So I'm trying something goofy tonight, a bit of an introduction to my album, my new album, which is called Wake Me Up Martha. Uh, I've been a songwriter and a musician, musician since before I was a journalist, since I was 17, 16. But I've been a songwriter for 30 years in the background, mostly behind my journalism. I wrote dozens of songs back in the Hudson Valley when I lived there, inspired in part by Pete Seeger, who we got to know as a neighbor and a friend. And then we moved to Maine 4 years ago, been coming here for decades because my wife's family is from here. And ran into a whole another batch of musicians, fantastic ecosystem of music here in Maine, just like there is in most places. Wherever you live, there probably is as well. And I started writing songs again. And so the first album I did came out in 2013. It was called A Very Fine Line. And this one is Wake Me Up Martha. And the opening song is about social media, pretty much. And it's about the value of community. And I thought I'm gonna work through the album, maybe not the whole thing. A couple people may pop in to join me, other musicians I know. I'm not quite sure if that's going to happen because I did this really on short notice. And we'll just see what happens. The album is, you can see it there. You can just Google for it. Go to the post I did earlier, and you'll find out more about it as well. I'm going to be doing another recording with musicians here, building bigger versions of these songs. You'll see why. There's a lot of value in having a song out that's just guitar and vocal, or just the bouzouki and vocal. But there is one of the songs is called "Life Is a Band," and basically the best music comes through community, and then community builds music in both directions. So hold on for a second, and I'm going to play that opening cut. You might have heard a version on my blog if you follow it, but I've never performed it live in my show. So here goes. Wake Me Up, Martha. And please put in a comment if the sound is off or anything. I need to know, because instruments sometimes do weird things on StreamYard, etc. So tell me if it's weird. Put in a comment. When I woke this morning, it seemed like an evening. Down that coffee, fed the dog, and munched my PBJ. But things got weird in a hurry as I scrolled on through the news. The deeper that I dug and read, the more I was confused. Pundits weren't yelling, even swear that some agreed. Armies weren't bombing, all I saw was harmony. Oceans weren't boiling, ripe fruit in every tree. There's just no way on planet Earth this is reality. Wake me up, Martha. Get me out of this dream. Wake me up, Martha. This can't be what it seems. Wake me up, Martha. This must be fake news. Please wake me up. Good times give me the blues. I need conflict with my caffeine to charge my battery. Without the tug of us and them, then who the hell are we? The naked ape within us evolved to fight or flee. There's just no way on planet Earth this is reality. Wake me up, Martha. Get me out of this dream. Wake me up, Martha. This can't be what it seems. Wake me up, Martha. This must be fake news. Please wake me up, good times give me the blues. Please wake me up, good times give me the blues. up the next morning, still seemed like any day. Down that coffee, fed the dog, and munched that PBJ. But I threw my phone in the corner when I walked out the front door. Figured maybe just this time I'd see what life is for. I checked in on a neighbor, she thanked me for my time. Debated with the barber, but we got along just fine. Recycled some old bottles, I even got a dime. I've got to say there's something here, this real life is worth trying. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not some dream. Don't wake me up, Martha, life can be what it seems. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not fake news. Don't wake me up, you know good time. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not some dream. Don't wake me up, Martha, life can be what it seems. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not fake news. Don't wake me, please, don't wake me. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not some dream. Don't wake me up, Martha, life can be what it seems. Don't wake me up, Martha, this is not fake news. Don't wake me up, you know each day is what we choose. So that's the opening song and the title song on my new album, my first album since 2013. Wake Me Up, Martha. And this one came from, well, obvious things. We're surrounded and suffused with weirdness, with algorithms that stalk us, with information that's not real, with reality that seems hard to reach sometimes. And I just did this song, drawing even on the work of Robert Putnam, who wrote, the sociologist who wrote about America becoming more, we're all becoming more isolated from each other. And so I figured, well, how does that work out? What if the internet was really weirdly good and that freaked somebody out, and they decided to throw away their phone for a bit? So that's that song. And that's, again, on my new album, which I just sent out to a bunch of radio folk DJs. So call your local radio station if you want to, if you have a folk or acoustic show you like, and say there's this new album that you've heard about. It's sort of goofy, thinking a journalist is writing songs and trying to really, pursue this as something meaningful, and let them know about it. Just you can find it on Spotify, on all the other streaming platforms, YouTube, etc. So that was song one. I see Joseph Poupe is in the audience. I think you live in Houston now, but I got to know him when he was still living in sub-Saharan Africa, and a wonderful musician and songwriter himself. Joseph, if you want to come on with me, if you have, that would be awesome. I can actually show a QR code. Anyone can join me in the studio to ask a question. So I'm just going to leave this up for a little bit. That QR code will allow you to come say hi to me face to face if you want. You can always put questions in the comment box there. You want me to answer any questions. So I should talk a little bit about the bouzouki, because that's the only song on this album where the bouzouki is the main instrument. And it's an instrument that has its origins in the Middle East. This one was built here in Belfast, Maine by Nick Apollonio. And the reason someone in Maine would be building bazookies is that starting around the 1960s, they became a popular instrument in Celtic music and Irish music, and spread through the folk world. And I've always loved the sound. I play mandolin as well, and I play guitar, obviously, and banjo. But the bouzouki it's more like a viola. I don't know. It has that deeper register, and I find it's actually a good songwriting instrument for me. And before I go into the next song from the album, maybe I'll just show you a little bit about how cool it is. Hopefully the sound is okay. Do post a comment if you think the sound is not good or good, because I can adjust a couple things. But just a little bouzouki, why not? Let's see. So that's Nick Apollonio's La Peregrina bouzouki. He made it about 4 years ago. I bought it 3 years ago here in Belfast, Maine, just down the coast from where I live. And thanks for letting me know what you think. That wasn't even a song yet. So, but it can be. It will be. I'm going to do an instrumental album at some point just because sometimes songs don't need words. And stay tuned. So let me know if you have questions about the instruments, about the album. Again, this is my first new album since, 2013. I'm going to show a little. Wake Me Up, Martha.
Get me out of this dream.
Like when you
Wake me up, Martha. This can't be what it
your own
seems.
CDs now.
Wake me up, Martha.
The internet has gotten so weird that and wonderful in a way. I designed the CD case myself, and at Oasis CD, before you approve your final thing that they actually print and send to you, they send you this 3D rendering, and I thought that was pretty amazing. That didn't happen in 2013. I still got a couple things frustratingly wrong about it, but that's there's a physical object. Most of the physical CDs are going to radio, to DJs, one of whom was going to be on the show later. And you'll get to hear about that. And I wasn't going to do a CD, like an actual physical thing, until a friend and musician, Paul Kaplan, explained that a lot of DJs, a lot of people in radio still like to have an actual physical disc. And you can send around the, a folder full of the audio files. But at any rate, I decided to print 200 of them, and 150 of them went just like yesterday to DJs. There's a question here from Janet Ginsburg, J.A. Ginsburg, who was just on my show the other day, talking about something very different, the material world we live in, and where we get the materials, and how we make them sustainably in a planet that's just with disrupted supply chains and everything. So Janet, I started, my dad sang, my mom sang. He was in the Merchant Marine, and my mom went to like Girl Scout camp, and when we were kids. My mom's guitar was the first guitar I learned on. I learned the wrong way, lefty. And, we were singing sea shanties because we sailed and we grew up in Rhode Island, and my dad was in the Merchant Marine. And, like Cape Cod girls, they have no combs. That's a bad key. Cape Cod girls, they have no combs. Heave away, they comb their hair with codfish bones. We are bound for Australia. So that was, 60 years ago. And then my brother and I, and when we were young teenagers in Rhode Island, there was a lot of good music coming through Rhode Island. Blues singers, guitar players like Roy Bookbinder, Paul Jeremiah. And I was just talking to someone today, Pat Sky, who was a really super talented all-around folk musician and songwriter. He used to run an Irish session in Providence, Rhode Island, when I was in college there. So it just kind of infused that way. And then certainly when I moved to the Hudson Valley in 1989, 1990, then Pete Seeger was literally right up the road. And he was a magnet for all kinds of musical activity and musicians. I actually have here, I'll make it bigger in a second. Pete became an influence for me. He actually helped me write one of my songs, or sort of rewrite it. Let me see if I can get this on the stage. I have to move something out. What's going on here? Remove from studio and then add to stage. There we go. So this is an example. There you can see Pete Seeger and me and my friend David Burns in 1995, and then again in 2010. So I got to hang out with Pete, play with him frequently through about 20 years, the last 20 years of his life. And it was a real gift for me. When I was recording my first album, well, actually, one of the songs featured on my first album, Janet, was a song I wrote about Arlington's National Cemetery, Arlington, which I learned when I was down in DC on an assignment for the New York Times. I was on the train going past the Arlington stop, and a family got on after a funeral. You could just tell they were all in black. And one of them mentioned to the other that they were remarking that the preacher had said the cemetery was running out of room. 1864 until now. And there's more veterans and more soldiers falling in the field. You end up with a shortage of real estate. And I thought, well, where will they go when there's no more room in Arlington? And I actually started reporting that out. It was a little off my beat, but I thought it just felt like a story. And it turned out a really fine reporter at the Baltimore Sun had already done a story about that issue. And so I started scribbling a song and getting a guitar and and it's in a different tuning than the other ones. I wrote it in Dadgad, which is a tuning that's kind of good for traditionally oriented songs. And that phrase, "Where will they go when there's no more room in Arlington," became the chorus. I may as well play it now. In 1864, the burying began. Despite that rabble, Robert Lee, we took away his land. Just outside of Washington, his hills spread far and wide. Soon corn gave way to crosses as young soldiers died. Where will they go when there's no more room in Arlington? Arlington, the hills go on and on, brave veterans and fresh fallen side by side. Bugles blow and caissons roll 24 times each day. At that rate, in 15 years, there'll be no place to lay in Arlington. In Arlington. Private William Chrisman was the first one we laid down. Now there are 250,000 in that hallowed ground. Mrs. Lee's rose garden, we buried near 2,000. Those just the boys who fell down at Bull Run. Where will they go when there's no more room in Arlington? Arlington, the hills go on and on, brave veterans and fresh fallen side by side. Bugles blow and caissons roll 24 times each day. At that rate, in 15 years, there'll be no place to lay in Arlington. In Arlington. From the war to save the Union, from the war to end all wars, all the battles ever since, all fought on distant shores. Where will they go when there's no more room in Arlington? Arlington, the hills go on and on, brave veterans and fresh fallen side by side. Bugles blow and caissons roll 24 times each day. At that rate, in 15 years, there'll be no place to lay in Arlington. In Arlington. In Arlington. In Arlington. In 1864, the burying began. So, that's an example of a song that's kind of a reported song. My friend Dean Friedman, who's a really good songwriter, been around for decades, recently did a Q&A with somebody talking about songs that you do the homework. I fact checked the song 1864, William Chapman being the first laid down, etc. And Pete Seeger did help me tweak the lyrics a little bit back in 2005, way before I recorded it. Let me see if I can show you better. Yeah, take a snapshot or something, you'll see, or you go to my blog, go and just put in the word Seeger and Arlington in the search box at revkin.substack.com, and you'll find Pete's scribbles, which I've obviously scanned and put online. Dar Williams contributed a verse. She sang some of the chorus, some of the harmonies, and she sang a verse in the recorded version back in 2013. So Janet, that's a kind of a longish answer to your question. And there are other songs I've done that have similarly grew out of my journalism in a way. One for sure is Liberated Carbon, which maybe I'll play later, which is also on the first album. Thanks for your answer. It's my good answer. And music really has been a part of my life, not just through my mom and dad and my brother ultimately, although he became a doctor. He became too busy to play enough guitar. He's got some good ones, but he doesn't play them enough. I had an Aunt Martha, my mother's sister, who was another wonderful musician. I think I have a picture of her here. Maybe I'll put it up in a minute. I had one wonderful picture of her, and I have her guitar now, the one she was given in the 1940s when she was young. Let me see if I've got that here. I just digitized it. Oh yeah, here we go. So there's my Aunt Martha when she was 90 in Northampton, Mass, with the guitar she was given when she was probably 13 or 14 by my grandfather, who used to frequent these estate sales in Boston. And there was this guitar, and he got it for her. It sat in her closet for decades, and it was very deteriorated, had lots of problems. She has passed on just the past year or two, sadly, but the guitar she passed to me, and two different luthiers here in Maine helped put it back together. And now I'll go back to my album and I'll show you that guitar, which is now wonderfully restored. And every time I play it, I think of my Aunt Martha. She isn't really the Martha in Wake Me Up Martha, so but maybe that name is sort of was part of that vibe. So let me go back to a bigger view here, and I will play you another song from the new album. Hold on a second. So here's that guitar restored, and it's 110. It has to be at least 110 years old, because this little details you learn when you're a guitar sleuth. These AC Fairbanks guitars only had this metal plate. Let's see if I can show you closely. Until 1910. They kept making Fairbanks guitars after 1910, but not with that. So, this guitar was made before 1910, and it had lots of issues. There were many little cracks and things. But Laurent Brondel and Nick Apollonio, the guy who made my bouzouki, put it back together. Nick did this great bridge, which I love. So rather than showing it to you, I'll play it more for you. So song number, the second song of the album is kind of a goofy one. It's called Good News from 2044. So it's a time travel song. And it exists because I was in a songwriting workshop, an online songwriting workshop called FAWM, F-A-W-M, February Album Writing Month. And basically it's people around the world get together and give each other prompts, which is a way to say something to think about when you're going to write a song. And one of the prompts was Oh yeah, I think they're on. I'll show you this. Oh, come on. Add to stage. Remove the back end of things. FOM. They're not just on Twitter. Just search for February Album Writing Month or the phrase FOM, and you'll find a pretty cool annual gathering. There it is. It stopped for a year, but now it's going again. Where people try to write 28 songs in a month. That's insane. But I did, the prompt was time machine. Write a song about time travel that involves time travel. And I'm thinking, oh, it doesn't sound like the kind of thing I write about. But I did. And it's about politics and, where we're at and where we might be. So this is song number 2 on the album Wake Me Up, Martha. And it's called Good News from 2044. Really? That should be part of the title. Really? And do indicate in the thing if the sound is weird, let me know. If you can't hear me, if the guitar is weird. Don't know how I got here 2044. Somehow the world avoided nuclear war. Somehow the climate didn't go to hell. Somehow the Constitution never fell. The candidates for president are on the stump. Sasha Obama and Barron Trump. But that's not the weirdest thing I have to relate. They're both kind of sane and talking pretty straight. That change didn't happen on its own. Sun let out a flare and all our circuits were blown. AI fried, satellites died, people had to live without a telephone. Don't know how I got here 2044. Somehow the world avoided nuclear war. Somehow the climate didn't go to hell. Somehow the Constitution never fell. Of course that is a dream. The sun won't set us straight. It'll take a lot of work to really make our country great again. So join yourself a club or your PTA. Even run for office if you feel that way. Find yourself a goal that suits your skills and heart. That's how we'll take back the power from the oligarchs. I said find yourself a goal that suits your skills and heart. That's how we'll take back the power from the oligarchs. Don't know how we got here 2044. Somehow the world avoided nuclear war. Somehow the climate didn't go to hell. Somehow the Constitution never fell. Never fell. Never fell. Good news from 2044. So yeah, and I've written about solar flares and the risk of what they'll do to the electrical systems in our world and all that stuff, and about massive power outages and about all the other mega threats that there are out there, and putting them together with the 2044. Turns out, again, as I was casting about trying to shape this song, I passingly thought, well, what's the first presidential cycle that Barron Trump would be eligible for? And it's 2044. And Sasha Obama just became like an opponent. But and the fact that they were sane and it was reasonable seems completely implausible. But it is a song. So that's song number 2 from the album. Also on this. Maybe it was, I was still back in the Hudson Valley and I wrote a song called Prayer and a Toast. And hold on one second because I want to be sure people on Twitter know what's going on here too. I'm going to just give this a jolt and share this. I'll be on here for another maybe almost an hour. So share the link you're watching on with others. And we can expand the party. I was hoping some of my musical friends could pop by, but I only came up with this idea like late afternoon. So I think, people have plans. We'll see. So give me 1 second. Live launching my new album. Wake Me Up, Martha. Okay, there we go. Off into the Twitter sphere. I'm hoping someday that ecosystem will be rescued from Mr. Musk. You never know. So here's a prayer and a toast, which is a song. Came out. I wrote it a long time ago, not that long ago. At any rate, I wrote it about how do you navigate life when there's all kinds of shit going on. Fluky doesn't even begin to describe the way life feels these days. Crisis a minute has become the norm. Worries just won't go away. Bills are piled high, windows are barred. Tread on my tires, worn thin. Got such an assortment of problems, I don't know where to begin. So I take my old dog for a 7-mile walk, stare at the clouds in the sky, sit on a rock on the top of a hill, and just simply wonder why. Why am I here? Where am I headed? Is there an end to these woes? Then the sun peeks out and a rainbow appears, and my dog licks me on my nose. That's when I realize things ain't half as bad as they seem to be. I got 2 good legs, it's a beautiful day, and at least my dog loves me. I decided to take it all a day at a time, made myself a little low. I'm gonna start each day with a prayer and end each day with a toast. I'm gonna start each day with a prayer and end each day with a toast. Back to my house, pay one of my bills, write a new resume, call an old friend I hadn't seen for years. He said I'd made his day. He's behind on his rent, his roof has a leak, he's fighting with his wife. I said, it sounds like you could use a little dose of my new approach to life. You know it feels like things ain't half as bad as they seem to be. I got 2 good legs, it's a beautiful day, and I know my dog loves me. I've decided to take it all a day at a time, made myself a little low. I'm gonna start each day with a prayer and end each day with a toast. I'm gonna start each day with a prayer and end each day with a toast. Prayer and a Toast from Wake Me Up Martha, my new album. First new album since 2013. And available here, there, and everywhere. So thank you. And I see my old friend Jim Montavali has come into the green room. Jim, enjoy the peanuts there and grab a beer from the cooler. I'll get you on in a second. Hold on. Jim.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you excellently.
Good. So let's see. How do we introduce you? You have so many facets. You're a writer.
Everyone's relevant.
Well, you've been a jazz and folk DJ for a very, very long time. Probably, well,
more than 50 years.
50.
Mm-hmm.
And the station, it's in Connecticut. It's
WPKN.
That's it.
A former college station that is now independent, listener
That's so great.
supported. And we were described as the greatest radio station in the world by the New Yorker magazine.
Oh my God. How did that come up?
Yeah, I was, as the publicity director of the radio station, that was a good coup getting that.
Wow. Was it in some story or just sort of
It was a whole talk of the town piece about us.
amazing? Amazing.
We're a very eclectic station. We play just about every form of music: jazz, folk, rock, blues, world music.
Huh. And but you were into music. Are you a musician? I'm not sure if I ever asked
I'm
you.
not a musician at all.
You're a
I think
consumer.
I'm a consumer of music.
Yeah, here's the Jim Montevalli Show.
Yeah. Yeah, you think after all these years I could have come up with an actual name for my show, but I didn't.
So I thought it'd be fun to talk about radio, folk radio, obviously for you, jazz as well, but it still matters to certainly to musicians because all the other ways of getting music out there now have been co-opted, and commercial radio particularly. I wrote about it in like 1998 in the New York Times. I wrote an article about what you hear and don't hear on New York City radio and why. And I was in a studio. Oh, is it? Remember 101 CD 101 Jazz? I was there at their studio when the station manager had come out with the new list or whatever of sort of like a playlist. And the DJ had some song he was asking about. And the guy said, if it's not on the list, it's not on the radio. And
Well,
that was like
briefly,
1998.
like you said, Andy, I've worn a lot of hats, and I had a brief career as a radio promo man, but I picked very uncommercial labels like ESP Disc and Folkways were the two labels I promoted. But I managed to get the Holy Moto Rounders played on WNEW FM, so that was pretty good.
That is pretty good.
That was my biggest achievement.
Wow. Well, I've learned a lot about folk radio and also the promotion part the last few weeks, because I did finally, my friend Paul Kaplan, who's a really good folk songwriter, convinced me, Andy, you have to print some CDs, because there's lots of DJs who really still need a disc.
I'm one of them. Now, we should stipulate here that Andy's actually been on my show playing his music.
That's right.
And I see that as one of my most important roles, is hosting musicians, interviewing them, playing their music on the air, talking about how they created it. I mean, I think it's good that I'm not a musician, because otherwise I'd be just promoting my own music and banging my head against the wall. But instead, I can help a lot of musicians get their stuff on the radio when very few radio stations will play stuff like that.
That's so interesting. And it feels like the sort of folk DJ community is a community. There's this folk DJ list that it's like an old-fashioned list serve, and people are posting their their playlists of their shows.
I'm not sure I'd be on that, Andy, because I don't do that kind of show where I only play one kind of music.
Right. And you cross all kinds of boundaries. By the way, I'm showing, this was the bed behind me 2 days ago.
You're mailing out your CD.
Yep, that just happened.
That's funny.
And I got from Art Menius. I don't know if you know who he is. He's a promoter for folk radio, and he sells a list.
I know the promoters that do jazz pretty well. Some of them are very effective.
Yeah.
There's a woman named Anne Braithwaite who only really reps jazz, but she's very good at it.
Well, and again, I'm just really happy that all of this still exists, that there are DJs who choose what they're going to play. They listen to their audience. They're not just they're not like an algorithm that feeds you just
Oh,
what.
another thing that's interesting is the number of labels that send CDs to radio stations has greatly reduced. They want to send you a download instead. It's
Right.
just that, I mean, people send me downloads, and I just turn those into files I play on the air. That's not really a problem, but the station doesn't. We're only just setting up some kind of online type of thing where the bulk of my record collection has ended up as the station's um, database of music, and we're just
Yeah.
getting that out so we can play that on the air.
Interesting.
I have 300,000 songs in digital form.
Wow.
I like all kinds of music.
Yeah. And your show is how frequent?
I was on last night, as a matter of fact. I'm on the second, the fourth, and the fifth Wednesdays of the month
Second,
for
fourth.
3 hours, 8 to 11 at night.
That's pretty cool. Well, and what I guess one thing that's really cool for you and for other small independent stations is you're global, right? Do you
Yeah, well, I think that's a great thing about radio is now you can listen to it anywhere. Most people don't own radios anymore.
right. You can stream it just as an app or whatever.
Yeah, you can listen to it anywhere. And part of what I'm trying to do as a publicity director is get people to know about us, because it's not like you'd find it too local if you listen to it. I mean, it's
Right.
80% of it is music you would probably like, and the public affairs is mostly national. So I think you'd be fine
Right.
listening to it anywhere. And I think some stations like KCRW in LA, they have a pretty good following nationally.
Yeah. Do you have a sense from feedback you get how many of your listeners are from somewhere way outside of Connecticut?
I think we have numbers like that, and I don't know exactly what they are,
Okay.
but probably a fair number. I would guess maybe 30%.
Yeah, I imagine.
We recently sort of revamped the program schedule to make it a little more coherent and listener friendly, and it's actually had quite a boon in terms of people who subscribe to PKN, who donate to it, and who are listening. Like, the number of online listeners at any one time has practically doubled since we changed the programming format. It's just, I think it's actually been a very good move for us.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So the
Oh,
audience,
can I ask you about something, since
of
both
course.
of us have or currently write for the New York Times, right?
Yeah.
And the New York Times just came out with the 30 greatest living songwriters.
Oh, this has been a discussion point.
Did you see that thing?
Oh yeah,
I take exception to it. I don't think it's very accurate at all.
well, I think they asked the wrong question. You know, I'd say great. You get 30 great. Why make it the greatest? Because there's so many ways. There's so many variables in that.
Well, if you take it, and if you take it and say the Grammy sense,
Right.
it's supposed to be an award for the best music of the year, but it's actually an award for the biggest selling music of the year.
Right.
And that's kind of what that looked like to me, that list.
Yes, if you go to the New York Times alumni page on Facebook, there was a pretty ferocious discussion of this by even people who used to work at the New York Times, like me.
To not include Steve Earle on that list is, to me, a major omission. Major omission.
Yeah, there was no one really from.
Of course, Townes Van Zandt isn't alive, so you can't put.
Yeah, I know.
But Steve is still breathing, as far as I know, and I think he should be on there.
Well, even Billy Joel.
Yeah, he should be on there.
You know, and I'm not like a raving Billy Joel fan, but in terms of creating a genre, you know,
I don't think Joni Mitchell is on there.
Well, they did say because she's Canadian born. They said they that was the reason.
Oh, come on, that's a technicality.
They were trying to cut those lines.
You'd have to exclude Neil Young for the same reason.
Yeah, which they probably did, I guess. Yeah. It's but you know, the idea that you're picking the best, and then I noticed that John Perellis wasn't part of it. It was a bunch of uh, writers and critics who, I don't know, it just felt like. But of course, they asked a question that they knew would generate a lot of discussion, like we're doing now.
Hmm.
You know, it's quick.
Yeah, I
It's
imagine
clickbait,
the
or
comments on that post are pretty lively.
I'm sure they are. And I, you know, they put a lot of effort into it. The interview, some of the video interviews were really interesting. The one with Niles Rogers, I think it was Rogers,
He
and
used to
the
live
one,
near me in Connecticut.
huh,
Now,
he had some very interesting anecdotes about where some of the great hits came from. So the interviews are great. You know, why cast it as the greatest as opposed to great
well,
songwriters?
just think that the Village Voice used to do this thing called the Paz and Job poll. It was a critics poll of what were the best records of the year, right?
Yeah,
And okay, say this is a critics' consensus of what were the greatest records of the year. That's not the same as saying these are the 30 greatest songwriters who happen to be alive.
right.
It's,
I know.
I don't know. It's a funny category.
Yeah,
Thinking,
I'm with you on this. I don't think Janice Ian was on the list. I mean, whatever. You know, we could go back.
oh, speaking of Janice Ian, you know, I interview a lot of musicians, and she was one of the best interviews that I've done.
I can
Really
imagine.
a good interview. And
She's still very dynamic, even on. She's very active on Facebook and the like. And
I had this experience when I was, I don't know, like 18. I worked in this record store in Bridgeport, and our clientele was almost exclusively anti-American, but the owners of the store didn't particularly like this. They wanted to attract more white people, so they insisted that we play only sort of white bread music in the store. So we'd have these African Americans shopping to Billy Joel or Janice Ian. And we had this one particular Janice Ian record that I heard every day for like 3 years. And it gave me this irrational hatred of Janice Ian, which was really not justified.
so
She really is a great songwriter and a really interesting person. Wonderful to talk to.
yeah, well, that's so cool. Um, I do want to talk. We should talk briefly about your other work. You mentioned you're writing Wheels again.
The New York Times has revived its Wheels column, and actually working with the same editor I worked with before, which was great. And it was like a how many 4-year moratorium, and they weren't really using freelancers in the auto space. Yeah, there I am.
Yeah,
And now they're doing it again. They brought back a lot of the freelancers who were writing about it before.
well, that's interesting.
You see, there's quite a gap between my newest story and my. There's 4-year gap there.
Oh gosh, yeah, good
You
point.
see, my last story was about people being buried with their cars. So I
Ah,
thought that was going to be my epitaph in the New York Times, but I guess not.
ah, man, and you have not written about music for the Times.
Never. Yeah, I'd love to.
Oh, that'd be fun. You should do that.
I write for something called New York City Jazz Record, which is it's a paper production. It's in any record store you go into New York, you'll see it, and
Oh, that's cool.
it's very comprehensive. It's better than Downbeat on many levels, and I enjoy doing that. I wrote for No Depression, some of the folkier ones also.
Sure.
I don't have a regular gig doing that.
No, Depression is still going. Hillary Saunders, I know, is the executive editor, managing editor now.
There
Well,
were, there was other Times writers who had like, uh, you know, night jobs writing about music. I was thinking Sam Friedman. Sam
yeah,
probably.
yeah.
He was a pretty good jazz critic.
That I didn't know.
I think he teaches at the Columbia Journalism School now.
He teaches how to write books.
Yeah, really good author, really good book writer.
Yeah. So why don't I'm going to sing another song if you don't mind. Let's see.
Yeah, good idea.
Um, I was kind of walking people through the new disc. See, I have this guitar on. Yeah, I'll do. Here's my immigrant song. It's about my grandfather. Long short story. And hopefully,
Where was he an immigrant from?
what's now Ukraine? Russia, Tsarist. He left when the pogroms were spreading through the area along the Dnieper River where he lived, and around 1903 is when he came to the U.S. I think he was only like 12 years old. He died in 1988. He was in his 90s. Anyway, so this is late in his life, his last year of life. I was sitting with him in a nursing home, and he said, life is a long, short story. And this is coming from a guy, a self-educated guy who built a furniture business, who never went to a school, and it seemed very profound, and it stuck in my head, and I finally turned it into a song. My father's father came from across the sea at the dawn of the 20th century. Took everything, built everything he had with his own two hands. My father's father was a working man. Last time I saw him, he was fading in an old folks' home. 95 years had come and gone. Memories were all he owned. He took my hand and smiled, said that he was satisfied. Life was tough, but all in all, he'd laughed more than he'd cried. He said, life is a long, short story. When you're young, it's a book without end. But when you turn that final page, it's like it just began. Life is a long, short story. My chapter's nearly through. But I peeked ahead, and wouldn't you know, the next one's about you. I love to watch my son slip into a dream. Only 5, but tomorrow he'll be 15. In the blink of an eye, he'll be a dad and then a granddad too. A smile, take a child's hand, the circle starts anew. They say life is a long, short story. When you're young, it's a book without end. But as you turn that final page, it's like it just began. Life is a long, short story. My chapter's nearly through. But I peeked ahead, and wouldn't you know, the next one's about you. Yeah, I peeked ahead, and wouldn't you know, the next one's about you.
That was great, Andy. I love the format of the relaxed format where you can just break into song like that.
It doesn't always involve music.
My father was an immigrant, came to America.
From Italy, or?
Everyone thinks I'm Italian. I'm not. My father was from Iran.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
I have the only Iranian name that sounds Italian.
So interesting, Montavali. I never would have guessed.
In Iran, they would more say Motavali.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it means trustee of land, because my family owned a lot of land in Iran.
Yeah, wow. Have you, is there any lineage over there? Are you still in touch
Most of my family left Iran a while ago. I have relatives in California, England, Germany, Switzerland,
So real
Canada.
diaspora.
There's very few of my relatives in Iran at this point.
Interesting.
But my
Well,
parents met in Tokyo after the war. My father was in the U.S. Army, and my mother was an Army brat because my grandfather was an Army colonel in the Signal Corps. So they met at a Cornell University party in Tokyo in 1946.
Wow.
My mother was at Pearl Harbor too.
Really?
Yeah.
You mean right when the attack happened?
Yeah.
Wow. That's memorable.
They hid under the dining table.
Wow.
But what is this thing, Rashomon, where people have different recollections?
Right.
So they're hiding under the dining table, and somehow the dog got out, and they disagree on who it was who got up and went to grab the dog. And when they went outside, whoever this was, they saw a Japanese Zero come down, and they could see the faces of the pilots. But my aunt insisted it was her, and my mother said it was her. So the actual answer to that is lost in time.
Yeah,
Can I mention a book that I highly recommend? I'm
sure.
plowing through. It's 900 pages, so it's a little daunting. Are you familiar with Joe Boyd, the producer?
No.
He's a real interesting guy. He was the sound man when Dylan went electric at Newport in 1965. And he then went to England, where he became the producer who handled all the British folk stuff, like Fairport Convention and John Martin and Nick Drake.
Yeah.
He was Nick Drake's producer and all that.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty cool.
He has, and then he founded a label called Hannibal. I don't know if you remember the Hannibal label.
Well, I know the music you're talking about, but I don't know that label.
Yeah, it had a lot of world music on it, and his book is about world music. The title is "And the Roots of Rhythm Remain," which is from a Paul Simon song on Graceland.
Yeah.
But it's 900 pages about world music,
wow.
And it's absolutely absorbing because he's such a good writer, and he has all the human details of why things happened this way and why people did what they did and how Latin music got into jazz and all this stuff like that. And here's a detail. Charles Darwin wrote a piece attacking a Zulu choir that played in London in 1857.
Wow.
Of course, racism is a big part of a lot of these things. It's like his history of Cuba is just amazing. I didn't know all this stuff. How Cuban music evolved. I don't know. It's just really fascinating. That's the book.
Check it out. Yeah.
Now, if you see it from the side, you'd see that it's about 4 inches thick.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah. And I saw him speak at the Big Ears Festival down in Knoxville, and I recommend to all your listeners that if you go to one festival a year, make it that one, because it's just simply phenomenal, and not just for any one form of music. It's as good as on folk music as it is on jazz and experimental music, and it's just whatever's great in any genre is what plays there.
That's amazing. I just drove through Knoxville a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to have to check that out for next year. We go down there because one of our sons lives in Nashville, and drive east from Nashville, and you're in Knoxville.
Yeah, I have a daughter in Louisville.
Ah, cool.
So that's not that far from there either.
Well, I love the idea of, all right, here's the Big Ears Festival.
How do you do that so quickly?
Just, Google and time.
You're really good at that. Yeah. You probably see the musicians are quite a varied lot.
That's just great.
And,
I like that idea.
And I saw. It's funny because I went to see David Byrne, and the opening act was this bad, like wedding band from Spain, and I thought they were just going to do 3 numbers and leave, but they didn't. They just kept playing. So like they played 12 songs. I said, I can't take any more of this. So I left. I went to hear a whole set of this musicians playing music of John Coltrane. I came back and David Byrne was just starting. So I did end up seeing all of David Byrne, and he reinvented the way concerts can happen
Yeah.
by having all his musicians untethered from their instruments. Like it's
Yeah.
like a marching band kind of.
It's an amazing thing to see. Yeah, I've seen it on TV, but not.
Yeah, I mean the music was just his greatest hits, really, but
It's
it just the presentation of it was pretty remarkable.
amazing. Well, Jim Montevale, it's good to catch up with you again. And
Congratulations on your new album, A Very Fine Line, and we will be playing it on WPKN.
I think.
Can I just comment? Can I just say a couple things about Patrick Sky before we leave?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, we were emailing about him.
Yeah, because on my own blog, which is on Substack called Music Without Borders, I just did this piece on Patrick Sky and this underappreciated album he made called Reality is Bad Enough. And if you ever have an album that comes out on a major label and yet gets absolutely no attention at all,
Right.
and I think it's a masterpiece, and it's almost impossible to find now, even though it was on Verve when it was issued. And he was a wonderful person. I interviewed one of his best friends, Terry Thal, who was married to Dave Van Ronk, and also Bob Dylan's manager for a while
Mm-hmm.
in the early, coffee house days in Greenwich Village. And she just said he was a wonderful, wise, sardonic, funny person. But he did something that it's kind of unprecedented in music. After Reality is Bad Enough failed, he made this album called Songs That Made America Famous. There he is. That's Patrick Sky. Songs That Made America Famous is one of the most off-putting, scary, scatological, ill-considered records that anyone has ever made. Like, if you wanted to completely sabotage your career while also making an album that's extremely well crafted, that's it. There's nothing that compares to that record.
That's amazing.
And this is really odd, but if you go on Amazon Music, that's the only album they have of his there.
Oh, how funny! I think I found the one you're talking about here. Let's see if
He was part Native American, Patrick Sky.
Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Yeah,
Good.
I think that's Many a Mile.
Oh, oh, you're right. Oh, I thought I had.
Yeah.
Oh, listen to it.
This is his most famous song.
I've
Buffy St. Marie
walked this world around, another city, another town, another friend, say goodbye, another girl to sit and cry, and it's many a mile I've spent on this road, it's many a mile I have gone.
So he was a classic Greenwich Village folkie.
Well, there
with
was
Dave
one
and
who knew
Eric
the best.
Anderson, all those guys.
She gave my poor heart rest. She was my world, my heart, my dear. Now she's gone, but to God knows where.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, that song was covered a lot. That's his only real success as a songwriter. That one song.
Yeah,
But Dave Van Ronk is very well remembered
for sure.
today. And there's a book about him, the mayor of Greenwich Village.
Right.
but Patrick Sky, not so well remembered.
No. Yeah, well, I got to know him in Providence, Rhode Island, at an Irish session that he used to help run, because he played Uilleann pipes, the
That
pipes.
was his passion later in life. Yes.
Yeah, that's when I met him. I think he was also a little bit of alcoholic at that point.
He
But
developed Parkinson's later.
wow,
You might have been seeing the effects of Parkinson's that look like
that's interesting.
alcoholism. I don't know.
That is
What did his personality seem like to you, Andy? Did he seem like a funny guy,
yeah,
sardonic?
he did. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah,
I
so
wish
many people have come and gone.
he later lived in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and they made a mighty effort to interview him, but he never responded.
Hmm.
Who knows? I think I think the Parkinson's was probably fairly advanced by then. That's probably why.
Uh, that's sad. All right, well, I'm gonna call it a night. This was it's good to see you, and
Yeah. Well, I'll have you on my show. You want to play live again, and I'll feed
oh
you soup.
sure, I'll absolutely. I
We'll
will
do
do
that
that.
again.
And I just followed you on Substack earlier today, and others should as
You
well.
actually pledged to be one of my paid subscribers if I ever actually had any. That's really great. I appreciate that.
Well, I think it's just a sign of respect, and for anyone out there, if you're listening, you want to support what I'm trying to do. The next step for me is to take these basic guitar vocal tracks and to convene with some of my musician friends up here and do a sort of an ensemble recordings of some of the key songs. And that's I'm going to try to raise some money for that, although it's not essential. I'm at a stage in life where I can do that kind of thing, luckily. And I hope everyone will keep listening. If you like what I'm doing, whether on the journalistic side or on the music side, make sure to share this conversation you're watching with others. And you can chip in if you want to become a paying subscriber. That's fine too. So this is sort of launch night for my CD, my new CD, "Wake Me Up, Martha," and you can find it anywhere, anywhere you can find music. Just Google for "Wake Me Up, Martha" and my name Revkin, and you'll find this
Shouldn't
album.
there be a comma after the up?
Yes, it could and should. Yes, but it isn't. You're not the first person to point that out. Not to mention the lowercase up, but it is what it is. It's like a Persian rug where they would leave in an imperfection because only God is perfect.
Oh, let me leave you with an anecdote. As I
Sure.
mentioned, my father was from Iran, and I actually visited the place a bunch of times. And the border of Iran and Turkey in Tabriz, they make rugs there. And when you're driving down the street, you see all these rugs in the street. And they actually put them out in the street to sort of artificially age them. So they don't look so
Antique.
brand spanking new.
That's very funny.
And they let people run over them for a while.
That sounds very practical. My grandfather ran that furniture store and would do whatever it took to make the sale.
There
Well,
you
thanks,
go.
Jim Montevali, for being part of the show tonight. And,
All right, that was a lot of fun, Andy.
I'll see you again soon.
Okay.
And maybe I'll close out with one more tune here. That was Jim Montevali from KPFN down in Connecticut and everywhere that radio streams. I'm just going to send you away with one more tune from my album. Let's see. If you have any questions, post them in the questions in the comment. Come on. Tuning. I do the flood. This one also grew out of my reporting. Basically, it's about the lack of resilience, communities that build vulnerability in places prone to bad things like flash flooding. And my now wife, when we were still courting, she spent a summer in Boulder, Colorado, 1995, when they had one of their flash floods, spring flood. And this scenario that she experienced there, or learned about there, I grew into this song. It was June up in the Rockies. I'm going to do it without a pick so I don't overload the guitar. It was June up in the Rockies. Sun was beating down. Deep snow fields were melting fast. The creeks ran wild and brown. Streams all joined together in a once-in-a-lifetime roar. No problem, said the engineers. Those dams can handle more. Meanwhile, way down in the tourist towns, like always, life was good. Some merchants printed t-shirts saying, I survived the flood. Those engineers were sweating as they tapped computer keys. Their worst case calculations looked like reality. Wind howled like a wounded wolf, Niagara Falls it rained. High in the thundering canyons, the dams began to strain. Those engineers were sweating now as they tapped computer keys. Their worst case calculations looked like reality. They say that nature has a habit of cleaning up mistakes. Don't build a town on a mountainside unless you like high stakes. Now the people building condos and driving 4x4s, playing golf on perfect greens and shopping fancy stores. They never knew what hit them until it was too late. The freight train walled water. It wiped clean their whole slate. They say that nature has a habit of cleaning up mistakes. Well, don't build a town on a mountainside unless you like high stakes. Storm rolled east all through the night, flood waters ebbed away. As first light hit the Rockies, the townsfolk were amazed. Those mountains gleamed like silver, malls and condos gone. The people smiled, some embraced. The world, it looked newborn. They say that nature has a habit of cleaning up mistakes. Well, don't build a town on a mountainside unless you like high stakes. Unless you like high stakes. Yeah, so there's this concept you can Google for called the expanding bullseye. The work of Steve Strader, and Walker Ashley on how we all around the country in fire zones and flood zones and earthquake zones to a certain extent, we build vulnerability more than the hazards are changing. Climate is changing, storms and everything else, but we're changing our vulnerability for better or worse, depending on what we do and what our zoning is like and the like. So that song is on my album, Wake Me Up Martha. There it is. It's out wherever music is sold. Go to revkin.bandcamp.com. Go to just Google for that phrase. Like Google for flood song Revkin, and you'll find that stuff. Here's the Bandcamp place to find the music. It's just one of many. If you have any questions, I'm gonna keep going here for another couple minutes. We'll have stuff going on, but it's good to connect with folks. I'll be playing in clubs around Maine, but if you're not in Down East Maine, I can also come your way. I'm going to do this series of events I call the Singing Journalist, and you can find a place like a library or a great coffee house near where you live. I'm just going to type this into the comments and I'll post it here. If you write down that little URL, you can find a document, a pitch letter, essentially for a singing journalist show that I'm, depending on where you live, I might come and do it there. Just to get around, and I'll even do them to help support local causes sometimes. So I am a singing journalist, just is what this is a fact. It sounds goofy, but what the hell? I mean, there's knitting journalists, there's cooking journalists. So I'm going to do a couple more tunes before we sign off here. So this one is political, and it's called Save Dreams for Sleeping. And this came out of one of the songwriting workshops too. I can't remember exactly how, but something about that phrase, we dream about things and how the world can be, but I just came up with this concept of save the dreams for sleeping. It's time to get real. So see what you think, and check out the album. Pass the link you're watching on around to other people. Go to revkin.substack.com, etc. We all have a dream somewhere deep in our minds, where everything's fair and everyone's kind. Flowers all blooming, no smoke in the skies. No wars in the headlines, no tears in your eyes. Save dreams for sleeping, it's time to get real. Hard workers are suffering while billionaires steal. Young women in trouble can't find caring hands. House builders born elsewhere get bundled in vans. I'm not saying it's easy, all good things take time. Those trying to divide us are good at their crimes. But if we stop dreaming, dive into the fray, a more perfect union is coming our way. Not saying it's easy, all good things take time. Those trying to divide us are good at their crimes. But if we stop dreaming, dive into the fray, more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming. Our way. Our country needs mending, but how to begin? With problems so tangled, no start and no end. Begin by protecting those facing the fire. Begin by connecting through common desires. One step at a time, the trust you create will carry us further than yelling and hate. One stitch at a time, the fabric you weave will grow ever stronger than you can believe. Save dreams for sleeping, it's time to get real. Hard workers are suffering while billionaires steal. Young women in trouble can't find caring hands. House builders born elsewhere get bundled in vans. I'm not saying it's easy, all good things take time. Those trying to divide us are good at their crimes. But if we stop dreaming, dive into the fray. A more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming our way. A more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming. A more perfect union is coming our way. Our way. Thanks for tuning in. This is kind of an experiment. First album I've done in 13 years. And not the last. I got at least 2, I think 3 more I want to do. And I appreciate your feedback. And do share the link you are watching me on with others when we're done. This is a archived when it's over. And I appreciate your tuning in. And make music yourself. That's a really valuable possibility in any community. Actually, I'm going to do one more song because a key song on this album is "Life Is a Band," which grew out of this wonderful musical community here that started by these 2 people, Molly Gawler on the right, the fiddler, and Jesse Steiger on the left, who's a chef at a place called the Conscious Cafe here in down East Maine. And the Conscious Cafe, Molly was hanging with them, and they started doing this Monday get-together, just a potluck supper, jamboree, and it showed you how the value of making music as a community and what can grow from that. It's a social network, not just a musical entity. You're feeding people who can't afford to eat sometimes, and you're creating music that making music on your own just simply can't compete with. So I ended up writing a song that I've been working on for a long time called "Life Is a Band" as I stumbled into this great community. There's Molly leading a session, and you can do this anywhere. That's the cool thing. Anywhere there's a space and a kitchen and musical instruments, you can get together and just share songs. They don't have to be fancy. You don't have to be a virtuoso. You just have to be polite and dig in. Oh, Lincoln Clapp, the man who recorded my album, is watching. There's Lincoln Clapp. Great songs, Andy. Lisi and I are big fans. Well, I'm a big fan of your recording skills, Lincoln, and your musical skills. Thanks for tuning in. So back to the Life Is a Band. I made good friends through this weekly network, and it's sprouted now. There's a Friday thing in Ellsworth, Maine, at the same restaurant that's more of a pizza party. And here, I just love this moment. She's also a dancer, so there's a lot of motion when we're doing these get-togethers. But you can do this anywhere. It's replicable. It's simple. The combination of music and food is irresistible. And there they go. A mother and daughter. The daughter plays guitar like I do, upside down, unrestrung. That was kind of cool. I can't remember her name right now. And there's Jesse Steiger with his wonderful pizza on one of the Friday nights. So if you're around Ellsworth, Maine, on any Monday, come to the restaurant, and you don't have to have an instrument, just your voice, of course. So let me give you the song as sort of a parting takeaway here. Hold on a second. And this is how it goes. Oh. As I said earlier, this guitar is 110 years old, so you have to give it some attention. Lincoln will remember the tuning sessions from when we were recording. Okay. It's folk music, that'll have to do. Hold on a second. I used to sing and strum up on the stage all by myself. Some Dylan and John Prine mixed with some songs of mine. Something was not there, licks and lyrics were to spare. Customers drinking and scrolling and yapping, once in a while some scattered clapping. Then walking home from a sleepy gig, a fellow called my name. He said, I love the way you play, there's a better game. Life is a band. No more playing on your own. Life is a band. Alto, bass, or baritone. Life is a band. Alto, bass, or baritone. Command your voice. Let's make it grand. Life is a band. Life is a band. No more playing on your own. Life is a band. Grab a uke or saxophone. Life is a band. Alto, bass, or baritone, command your voice, let's make it grand. Life is a band. He said, right down the block, there is a place you have to see. We gather every weekend for a potluck jamboree. Bring some wings or a casserole, a flute or a mandolin. Choose folk or blues or an Irish tune, and then we start to sing. Life is a band. No more playing on your own. Life is a band. Grab a uke or saxophone. Life is a band. Alto, bass, or baritone, command your voice. Let's make it grand. Life is a band. Like a town needs a mayor and a baker and a plumber. A band has a singer and a picker and a drummer. Each on its own is monotone. Put them all together for something better. Put them all together for something better. Put them all together for something better. Life is a band. No more playing on your own. Life is a band. Grab a uke or saxophone. Life is a band. Alto, bass, or baritone, command your voice, let's make it grand. Life alto, bass, or baritone. Life is a band. Grab a uke or saxophone, come add your voice, let's make it grand. Life is a band. Come add your voice, let's make it grand. Life is a band. Come add your voice, let's make it grand. Life is a band. Come add your voice, let's make it grand. Life is a band. Well, thanks so much for listening in tonight. And I may resume my Sunday Sanity shows, which I've done a few of with my musician friends. But this was just a one-shot thing to do now that I have this album out. I've distributed the CDs to radio DJs. So if you have a radio show you listen to that's a folk-oriented show, you can now call in and say, hey, play Andy Revkin's album, because it is out and around. I've sent them to 150 radio stations that have folk music shows, and you can just say Andy Revkin has a new album out, why don't you play it? And we can spread the gospel of homemade music. And it was made in Lincoln Clapp's home, built in 1860 in Belfast, Maine. And it was made on instruments made in 1910, and no AI in sight. So that's what I'm up to, along with my journalism, which will keep on going, of course, as well. So thanks so much for your time. Thanks for tuning in to this special Sustain What pop-up celebration of making music instead of just listening to it in a passive way on these systems that are really not there to do much that's good, to my mind. You can make your own music. It's that simple. It's a hashtag, make your own music. Take care. This is Andy Revkin signing off from here in Down East Maine in our little cabin. And be well wherever you are. Get in touch through that scrolling bar at the bottom with ideas for future shows. And life is a band. Take care.